two things you need to be aware of with consistency. The first thing is the vision that you have for your future self, right? It's like, what is your vision for your future self? But the second thing has to be in alignment with the vision that you have. And if it's not aligned, you will not be consistent. So if the vision of your future self is the thing, the second thing is the belief and the clarity that you have in the plan to get there.
Hey everyone, it's Carly here and you're listening to the Made for More podcast, and I am so excited about this episode. This week I had the privilege of interviewing the incredible Frazer Brookes. Now, if you're in the network marketing industry, you have probably just gone, ooh, I love him. If you're not in the network marketing industry, then honestly, you still need to listen to this. He's got so much value to give. He is a social media expert, but he really seriously knows this profession and knows how to do it really, really, really well. I love his passion for everything network marketing, but just how much he gives back. Like, this guy works so hard, and his whole passion is just about helping people and also helping the profession of network marketing. So like I said, if you're in this profession and you're building a business, then definitely plug in, because my God, there is like golden nugget after golden nugget. But if you're listening to this and you're not in network marketing and maybe you're thinking, oh no, I'm not interested in that, that's not my vibe, still listen to this, because he gives a really interesting insight into why you should still add a network marketing string to your bow. It may not be that you want an extra income, it may not be that you want to take on a massive other workload, but just he gives so much value and really gives a great insight into why bringing this into your already current busy life is actually an amazing idea and will actually help your business as well. So I know you're going to get so much from it. I loved chatting to him. His banter just makes me die. It makes me laugh so much. And yeah, we just had so much fun chatting for this hour or so. So as always, if you are loving this podcast, it really does mean so much to me to get those reviews, because it really does help me boost this podcast. So if you're loving it, please leave me a 5-star review, take a screenshot of that review and email me at admin@carlymyers.com. And every single month I'm going to be doing a giveaway for a free one-to-one coaching call. So I'm so excited to connect with you, and again, thank you so much for all of your support. It really does mean so much to me. And when I get those messages saying, oh my God, this was exactly what I needed to hear today, it literally lights up my world. So thank you so much. I know you're going to get so much from this episode, and I cannot wait to hear what you think. Enjoy. Yay, amazing. Hey, Frazer Brookes. How you doing?
Hello, legend. How are you doing?
I love that you say legend every time. I do feel like a legend every time you say it, you know. It's like an affirmation. If I just hear you say that enough, I'm like, yes, I'm a legend. It's so good.
It's funny, hey, like a lot of people, I've worked with a lot of people over the years, and you know, when I say superstar or legend or something like that, they're like, no one's ever called me that before. I'm like, what, your husband, your partner? They're like, no. I'm like, what? Come on. And then it has a really cool knock-on effect, positive vibes and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
No, I like it. The chavvy part of me just wants to call you a ledge, though. I need to just like abbreviate it a little bit, because I'm obsessed with the abbreves, but it's all good. So do you love the abbreves with the abbreves?
You just abbreviate, yeah. I'm dying.
That's when you know that you're a pro abbrever. So I'm so excited to have you on here, because like I just said, you inspire me so much. You are nonstop. I see you on your social media and you are hustling, squeezing everything out of the day. I am in a bit of a conundrum with your social media, because part of me really wants to follow you and I love it. The other part of me just gets reminded of my dull locked down life every time I see you, and I'm like, oh man, we are living different lives right now. So for those that don't know, Frazer has moved his whole life over to Dubai. You're living in this amazing glass apartment. It's the kind of apartment where the bathroom is like all open, isn't it? You can stand there in the nudie and like wave your bits at the whole of Dubai, but no one can see. It's one of those ones, isn't it?
There's nothing to see anyway, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. So, well, good to know. But, you know, if there was something there, you could just get it all out. But no, it's amazing. You are literally, I love seeing what you're doing on there, and it really is so inspiring, but you deserve every single bit of it as well.
And I appreciate that. It's, you know what? I was the person before I went to Dubai. I was like, I don't get it. It's flash. It's all this. And as soon as I came here, I realized I was completely wrong. And it reminded me of the closed minds don't make anything in life. closed minds, skeptical minds. You know, having an open mind is possibly one of the most valuable things that you can ever have in life. So I was open-minded to move here. We moved here, fell in love with the weather, the people, the network, and the energy, the environment. And it's just been incredible. I have held back a lot actually on my social media. I want to double down and share way more, but I just feel guilty is not the right word really, but I just feel it's not fair because of the situation in different parts of the world. So although a lot of people are following and are like, yeah, wow, I am holding back a lot because I don't want to upset them. I don't want to upset the masses really. It's just the yellow personality in me really.
No, I love it though. The thing is, like, I think, you know, even though I take the mick out of it and say that it reminds me of my dull life, I think it is so inspiring. And it's actually really good to see someone just really enjoying life because, you know, my social media right now is packed with people moaning about life. So actually when I see you guys and you're enjoying your life, it's a really nice thing to see. So don't worry too much about that. It's actually a little ray of sunshine in people's social media feeds. It's all good. So for those that don't know anything about you, share us a little bit about kind of how you got started in this profession and how you've ended up here today.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thanks so much for having me on. I'm a big fan of yours. I'm a big fan of what you're doing, and I'm super, super excited to be on this podcast, especially in the early days of it, right? So when there's thousands of episodes, I can be like, oh my God, I was super early on this. This is amazing. So my network marketing career started in 1987, but I wasn't born until 1988. Mum and dad thought, like, my dad was so broke he couldn't afford to pay attention. Those were his words. And one day he was in this house that he had. It was a big house, but it was a mess. It needed so much work doing to it. He couldn't afford to pay the bills, so he had to rent the rooms out to complete strangers. So he did that. One day my mum is pregnant. Well, not one day my mum was pregnant with me. One day he woke up. My mum is pregnant with me at that time. He walks downstairs, has his enough is enough moment. I've had enough of this. House is full of strangers. My wife's going to give birth in a few months' time. Like, things got to change. Went into the kitchen. On the kitchen table, one of the tenants had left a newspaper open and he saw a picture of an Aston Martin sports car right in the middle. And it said, MLM, MLM, MLM. I drive an Aston Martin. You can too. Call me now. And my dad was like, what the heck is MLM? And he thought it stood for Make Love Monthly. That's what he thought it stood for. He was like, Make Love Monthly, Make Love Monthly, Make Love Monthly. I can drive an Aston Martin and Make Love Monthly. Like, I'm in. Calls the guy up. The guy says it's not Make Love Monthly, but come along to an event in Blackpool. Shout out to anyone who's been to Blackpool or from Blackpool. So we go there. I was in the room in the womb on the 27th of October, 1987, when my mum and dad joined network marketing. It was very different back then, but they went on to make their fortunes with the industry, completely changed their lives and the lives of people who were around them. I traveled all over the world with them, seeing them build their empire. But when I was 18 years old, I said no. I'd seen the fortune, the fame, the freedom, the friends, the family, the funds. I saw everything. But I said no because I had the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, and the fear of public speaking. That fear of public speaking was the one thing that I knew was inevitable. I knew that I would be able to eventually get over the failure and the rejection. But every single person I saw in my dad's team or my dad's organization who was successful had one thing in common. They held the mic at every single event. And I thought, I don't want to do this because if I fail, then I've failed and I've done my dad and my mom like it would be a bad thing. But if I succeed, then I'll have to hold the mic and I'll have to speak. I'll have to public speak. So I said no for 4 years. My dad followed up with me every 3 months. I got involved when I was 22 on the 8th of April, 2010. Leveraged social media in a day and age where social media was not accepted or approved on, or you know, it was frowned upon to build a network marketing business. Built it up to 300,000 customers, all using social media. A lot of it was outside of the UK. 80-something% was outside of the UK. Met Svetlana, who's now my wife, whilst I was on my travels. And in 2016, I made a decision that, you know what, it was the day that Donald Trump got elected, which I know is a bit of an awkward conversation now, but the day he got elected, end of 2016, I made a decision, you know what, I'm going to resign. I'm going to go from making my multiple six-figure residual income to absolutely nothing. And I'm going to focus on giving back to the industry and help people level up, especially on social media. And I did that, and it's been insane. And I think the crazy thing about my story from a selfish point of view, when I look at all the achievements and all of that stuff, all that's fun, but the thing that held me back the most is what I get paid to do now. like the fear of public speaking. I'm 32 years old and I've been paid to speak in 31 countries, which is just, it baffles me. It baffles me every day. But it's just a journey of progression. And I'm excited that my progression can help inspire people. I'm not perfect, but I progress. And I think that's the key.
Oh, it's so good. I absolutely love it. That's such a bold move to give up that company and that business that you built to go and give back to the profession. I mean, I'm so grateful that you do, because I've been in the industry for 7 years now and I have seen it start to change. Whoop, whoop. I have seen it start to change. And it is because of people like you. So I think it's got a bad rap, hasn't it? Still, sometimes, like, you still speak to people and they're like, in the lamp, like you say, and it's irritating, but we are gradually changing it. But I think a lot of that comes down to amateurs that have started network marketing. They haven't really put in the time to the training to learn it properly and, invested in learning themselves. They've just gone out with like a little bit of a slapdash approach. And then they failed, and then they told all their friends and family, like, oh yeah, my friend Sarah did this, and then it didn't work, and then now network marketing doesn't work. So I feel like that's where the problem lies a little bit, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. So what's your advice for building a business online, building a network marketing business on social effectively, while also helping to kind of change this stigma?
Well, first and foremost is I think that we have to appreciate that there are always going to be people in our lives who are negative thinking, stinking thinking, negative thoughts, negative opinions. No matter how much you do and what you do, there's always going to be those types of people. And, we need those types. Rule of balance, law of balance. The very negative people, there'll be very positive people. So, I'm always grateful when someone says, I'm always like, thank you so much for letting me know how negative you are, because I do not want to work with you. I want to be surrounded by the positive people. The thing that we need to focus on in network marketing is giving people value. Like, how can we significantly help someone, whether they're going to buy from us or not? So the first thing is, especially on social media, I believe, is the intention has to be for the connection, right? We have to be heart-driven, value-focused, connect with people who we want to, we reach out to someone. Hey, it'd be great to connect with you. Some ignore you, that's fine. Some block you, that's fine. Some delete you, that's fine. But some people will be like, yeah, great to connect with you too. Like, how are you today? You have a conversation, and where you can offer value, you offer value. Like, hey, you should read this book. Hey, you should listen to this audio. Hey, have you ever been to that beach? I see you go to Spain a lot. Have you ever been to that beach? Have you ever, like, simple things like, hey, have you ever shopped at this store instead of that store? Like, be someone in their lives that when they think of like all the good people in their lives, you are one of them, whether you're a stranger or a new friend or an existing friend. So now when we're value focused, when we bring up the opportunity of network marketing, instead of, oh my God, I mean, you're no longer a friend of mine, like you are no longer a valuable resource of mine because instead it's, you know what, it's not for me. It's not for me. And instead of you being like, why? It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, you idiot. I thought you were a friend of mine. It's, hey, that's absolutely fine. That's totally fine. No worries. And we need to lead with value. We need to establish, the difference between a positive person, negative person, who we want to work with, who we don't want to work with. And then we just really need to focus on educating people in the industry. Like, what is the reason? If you don't mind me asking, like, what is the reason why it's a no? Is it bad experience? Is it people who've done it before? Like, I would love to learn how to improve. And the more people we can educate, and the better, really. It's just one person at a time. So that's kind of what I would say. Lead with love. Intend to connect with people. Don't just try and get the sign-ups. The sign-ups will get you the short win, but the connections will get you the long win. And it's a long game. If you want residual income, you have to appreciate that residual income is created by doing a lot of work. It's not a short-term thing. It's a long-term thing. So yeah, that's what I would say. And it's always going to be an issue. It's an issue with everything. If I say, oh, I'm a big football fan, and you're like, oh, football, it's boring. I'm like, what? Are you crazy? They're just kicking a football around. I'm like, how do you not understand how amazing football? Everyone has their opinions. So it's finding who you want. Find the people who you want to spend your time with, and focus in on those people. Yeah,
totally. I mean, football is boring, but yeah.
How can you say that?
So dull. No, but I do totally agree. I think it's amazing. Just going I remember when I had a little brainwave and I was thinking, someone asked me something, and I used to have the thinking on social media of like, if it's not going to help my business, it's not worth my effort. So, you know, I wouldn't reach out to someone and offer them advice about something because I was so tunnel visioned with like business. And then, yeah, I had a major shift as well of like, just genuinely help people like in some way or another. And I actually got one of my best leaders from doing that. I gave her loads of advice and loads of help about something completely unrelated. And then in the end, she came back and she was like, I really like what you're about. Can we have a chat? And yeah, that massively paid off. So
it's amazing.
I agree.
And the community that you're building is heart focused, heart driven. It's just such a warm environment for people to be in. And I think a lot of the times as network marketers, we don't promote the community, the support, the positivity, and the value that you can bring enough. It's benefit to the product, benefit to the business. What about the benefits of everything else in between? Because, hey, people join for the money, but they stay for the person they become, and they stay for the people who they surround themselves with. Obviously, I can see your background. You've got an incredible destination over in Hawaii, in Maui, and like, I want to go to those destinations with people who I love and I appreciate and I've grown with. That doesn't get promoted enough. It's kind of 7 ways to earn, and our products are this, and community is what we all strive for and need now.
It so is. And I wish people knew that more of that. I wish they knew actually what being a part of a network marketing company was all about. It's that, like you say, that is the most valuable thing.
Yeah. Sure.
So can you see a change in the perception? Do you think since you've been in it, can you see that we are moving in a positive direction towards it?
Yeah. It was messy. You know what? I'll tell you the story of when I really realized that it was a problem in some countries, but not worldwide. I built an organization in a country called Kazakhstan. Now, for those of you who have ever watched the movie Borat, you will know, like, yeah, I like my, all this, like Borat. So I built this organization in Kazakhstan through tap routing and digging deep. And the first time I go over there, I look at how they're building the business. Now, we would be texting back and forth. They would pick up the phone and just call someone. And I'm talking to them about, like, how is network marketing perceived here and there. It's a profession. It is literally something that you'd be proud of, so much so that if you go to the supermarket in one of the cities there, for example, Astana, which was the former capital of Kazakhstan, and you shout out in Kazakh, the Kazakh language, the Russian language, like, I am a network marketer, people would come up to you and say, how does that work? What does that involve? Can I make money from it? If I went to Tesco's in Formby in the north of Liverpool and went, I'm a network marketer, the aisles would completely empty in the shop. It would be a private shopping experience for me 5 minutes later. So I realized that, wow, in some markets, it's an issue. It's got a bad rep, but in other markets, it's a pleasure. It's an honor. It's a privilege. And it's a genuine thing to do. So I believe that it never used to have it had a bad rap for different reasons. But when social media came in and no one knew what they were doing, it was the wild, wild west, and everyone was just sending messages like without any structure. Just do it. Just post. I'm looking for 3 motivated individuals. There's 1 spot left. My inbox is on fire. It's blowing up right now. I'll get back to you tomorrow when no one's messaging you, right? Or like you're sending all these messages and all this craziness. It got messy. And that was one of the triggers that actually made me to resign and do it, because I thought there are no voices, no unbiased voices to say, listen, you're doing it wrong and you need to do it this way instead. And I'm not saying it's me. I'm not saying that I'm the trigger at all, but I am now starting to see that there are more people doing it right, but more important of all, telling people that they're doing it wrong. And it is starting to come back. And now COVID came right as I know it's a sensitive topic, and I am always thinking about the people who are suffering through COVID, and my thoughts are always with families who are struggling with it. But it was a great thing for network marketing because people were forced to stay at home and realize that, you know what, making money from home is going to be a necessity moving forward at some point, whether it's $100 a month, $500 a month or more. Obviously not mentioning income claims or anything like that. But it's so important. It's so important that we educate as an industry. If someone messages you and says with like a spammy message, just send them, hey, I'm not interested. I would highly recommend you change your approach. Try sending this instead. Why not? Why can't we all train the industry? Because if the industry grows, we all grow. Rising tides raise all ships and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I believe together we can make it, we can improve it. It definitely is starting to, I would say the bad reputation is slowing down. And eventually when it slows, it will then move and it'll be a very, 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 valuable industry for a lot of people, although it already is now, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess like the more success as well, like the more people are seeing a success story, like most people probably know someone now who's been very successful in it. And as companies are longer in places, like we've been in the UK for, I think it's like 12 years now. So, there's more success stories coming up and they're just going to get even more. So yeah, it does definitely change. So you mentioned, obviously the time we're in right now has opened a lot of people's eyes, and it's definitely opened people's eyes to having multiple income streams, not just kind of being in one area. And what I find a lot of my listeners, some of them are network marketers, some of them are other business owners, some of them are people that are thinking about starting a business. And what I find actually with some of the business owners, they're kind of like, well, I've got my business and I need to put my whole focus into that, which is all good. But I really see a lot of value in adding another string to your bow, which is with network marketing. But sometimes trying to kind of like help them see that is tricky. So what's your advice to someone that already owns a business? What's your advice to say that actually you could really benefit from adding this in?
So I would actually look at it as maybe a different way from what most people do. It wouldn't necessarily be primarily. My English is shocking, by the way. I'm just going to tell you that. I would be looking at it from a standpoint and a point of view of, it's not going to be a financial decision necessarily in terms of it's going to set my world on fire, because the focus, if you've got your own business, it's most likely come from a passion. If it's come from a term of passion, you're passionate about making jewelry, then your business is selling jewelry. That's amazing. That should be 100% your focus. If you're building a business out of necessity, then network marketing you should definitely look at, because it might potentially be a better solution for you with less headache, risk, and all that sort of stuff. But the main reason for joining network marketing for me is free mentorship, free guidance, positivity, community. And you might be thinking, yeah, but hang on, my upline's not going to talk to me about my business. It's not necessarily what you need to talk about. It's mainly having someone you can reach out to every day. Hey, I'm in a bit of a rut. I'm having a bit of a bad day. And that person pulls you out the bad day. Because one of the things you're going to have to deal with as a business owner is it's very lonely at the top. It's extremely lonely at the top. And the reason why they say it's lonely at the top is because top of the hierarchy, right? Different people in different professions are lonely, but I would 100% get involved, because you can find people who will become extremely good friends of yours. They want you to win, whether it's in your organization or not. The things you need to be aware of in life is there are two types of people. There are friendships and there are commissionships. The friendships are people who want to support you, whether they're going to be financially involved or not. A commissionship only wants to be friends with you for a commission. Okay. And in network marketing, most people, especially in the community that you've built, Carly, is you are in an environment where you're wanting people to win in life in general. So if you're a business owner, have a network marketing, the amount, the fee that you have to pay is it's the most affordable version of mentorship and positivity you will ever get. And this is coming from someone who's spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with mentorship over the years. So yeah, I would join simply for the mentorship, the positivity, and the community, the extra income if you need that focus or you're not passionate about the business that you've actually got.
That's so true. 100% agree. Because that's the thing, like most of our trainings are based around things that are so needed in all of business anyway. It's mindset stuff, it's resilience, it's teaching courage, it's teaching self-belief, it's teaching all of that. And those things come up in every single business that you do. So yeah, I totally agree. It's relevant for every single industry. Love that. Thank you. So you've worked with some of the most amazing leaders in the industry. You actually worked with Eric Worre, haven't you? So you've worked with you've been speaking on his events and stuff like that. And because of that, you've been connected with some of the most amazing people in the industry. And they're the most successful. And we know that the percentage of people that make it to the top of a network marketing company is really small, isn't it? Unfortunately, it's really small. But that's not because there are certain... it's just some people have it and some people don't. I really believe that everyone can learn everything they need to do to get to the top of a company. But what are the most common character traits or mindset traits that all these people have in common? Because I think that's what it is, isn't it? It's character and mindset. It's not the way you look or the way you were brought up or anything like that.
I know. Yeah. For those of you who, Flipping it. I think I was compared to Sloth from the Goonies when I was growing up in school. Like, it's not something that you need. It's not a necessity. It's not a necessity. Told you my English is absolutely horrific. So there's success, and then there's like big success. So like the success with like maybe becoming financially free, which for a lot of people can be $500 extra a month, right? So you become debt free and stuff. But people who have the big success stories, they focus on structure over strategy. They focus more on the structure of their day instead of the strategy that they're going to use. So like waking up in the morning, affirmations, priorities, personal production before answering team messages. One of the big things for those of you listening who have a team, make sure you do your personal work and your personal reach outs before you start answering team messages. Your priority, and it's good for them if you do this, your priority is to bring more people into the business or to get more customers of the product. That is your priority. The second priority is then for you to help your team out. But by helping new people come in, you're going to find new success stories. And when you leverage those new success stories, it's going to motivate the existing team. The best way to motivate the existing team is to bring in a new team. It's fundamental. So structure over strategy. The second one is they are just absolute system addicts. They're looking for all the different systems. There's not one system. There's, like, for example, in McDonald's, people think, oh, it's just a great system. No. There's a system to make the fries. There's a system to make the chicken nuggets. I'm a big chicken nugget fan, although I am gluten-free, dairy-free, so I probably shouldn't be putting them in my mouth. Like, there's a system to the upsells, like, would you like fries with that? There's a system to the drive. There's loads of different systems. So as the big leaders, the big success stories, they are addicted to lead generation systems. They're addicted to presentation systems. They're addicted to personal development systems, to leadership development systems, to event systems. They're addicted to all these system creations. The third one is consistency. Now, we hear about consistency all the flipping time, but I'm going to tell you how you master consistency. And this is coming from someone who struggled with it massively. And now, hey, I'm super, super consistent. And everyone can do it. But there's two things you need to be aware of with consistency. The first thing is the vision that you have for your future self, right? It's like, what is your vision for your future self? But the second thing has to be in alignment with the vision that you have. And if it's not aligned, you will not be consistent. So if the vision of your future self is the first thing, the second thing is the belief and the clarity that you have in the plan to get there. If your vision is to become a 7-figure income earner, meaning you're making $1 million a year or more in one 12-month period, then is the plan, the clarity of the plan and the belief in the plan that you've got going to get you there? If it's not, you're not aligned. And if you're not aligned, you won't be consistent, because you'll think, oh, is what I'm doing going to get me to where I'm going to get to? Am I wasting a load of time? How do I know if what I'm doing is going to get me to the top? How do I know if I'm wasting my time or it's going to be worth it? So you've got to really visualize the big goal, but get real with that plan. And if you don't have the clarity or the belief in the plan, go to someone who has got what you want to achieve and ask them and speak to them. Hey, I've got this plan. Is it going to happen for me? And would you be able to hold me accountable and give me validation? That's what you got to do. The fourth one is they focus massively on developing leaders. And the problem with network marketers that they have is they bring someone in and they think, I'm going to make them a leader. No, it just doesn't work that way. If you look at football, not all the football is a bad example because it's dull. So there's 11 players. Not all of them can be the captain. They just haven't got what it takes. So you bring in someone, and a lot of people, what they do is they get a new sign up, a new consultant, a new ambassador, a new distributor, a new team member, whatever. And they'll shout out to their partner, hey, Bob, get the champagne out of the fridge. You pop it. I've just got a new consultant. We're going to go to the top with this one. You count your chickens before they hatch, because a week later they've quit, right? So top success stories, they have a process, a system in place to be able to identify people who have the leadership qualities, and then they pour all in with those people to develop the leaders, and they work with 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. I'll never forget, there's a guy called Big Al, Tom Big Al Schreiter. He's written a load of books. He's a family friend of ours because we've been in the industry forever and ever and ever. And he sat down with me and he said, I was 22 at the time, or 23 at the time. And he said, Frazer, how many leaders do you have in your team? I said, oh God, my team was growing fast at this time. I was like, I don't know, maybe like 200. He said, that's not true. He said it in a different way, but that's not true. He said, if you have 5 leaders in your team, you will be rich beyond your wildest dreams. I said, really? He said, a leader is someone who, if you were to quit, they would never, ever, 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 ever quit. They're going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. When your ship goes through a storm, when your ship goes through a bad time, they ain't jumping ship. If you jump ship, they will take over they will take over the wheel, they'll take over the helm, and they're going to get it to paradise. And it made me think really that we use the term leaders quite casually. And, you know, to be a leader, you had to deserve that. You have to have worked your ass off for that. There are so many different traits. So I could give you 100 of them, but I would think the last one I should mention here is a constant focus on personal development. And here's the problem that I see most people have. They'll ask me, Frazer, how many hours a day should I commit to personal development? And my answer is, that's the wrong way of thinking. It's how many hours of the day will I not be developing personally? So for example, most people go to sleep, right? We all go to sleep, but they'll go to sleep in a silent room. Put a set of headphones on, put an AirPod on, put the Alexa on lowest volume and play Bob Flippin' Proctor, play The Secret, put a podcast in, this podcast, throw this podcast in, learn a language, whatever. Because I'm going to tell you this, and I don't mean to be hogging the microphone here, but I'll tell you this, right? I've been the kid. I've been to events in the pram. I've been to the events crying my eyes out, probably getting breastfed at some point as well. I've been the kid who's been knee sliding across the dance floor at the galas. I've been the kid who was on the back row making trouble. I've been the kid on the front row taking notes. I've been the kid who's, you know, I've been all sorts of stages. And I'll never forget, I joined network marketing. I'd been a student of the industry and I said something to close someone and I had never heard it in my entire life. I was like, well, I've just come out with an absolute banger of a line there. Where the hell have I heard that? So I went to my dad, who's my mentor, and I turned around to my dad and said, Dad, have you ever heard this line before? And I told him the line. And he turned around to me and said, yeah, I say that all the time. So I went through my years and years of notes and I couldn't find it. And I realized that I'd heard him say it so much without me paying attention that subconsciously I'd learned it all. So when people say like, no way am I going to bed listening to Bob Proctor, going to bed listening to this podcast, going to bed listening to a language, you are learning way more than you ever think. So now in the other room, there is a podcast playing on the Alexa. I can't hear it, the volume, it's not disrupting this, but I can hear there's something going on. It's happening. Something's happening. There's always something here. So top leaders and success stories have podcasts on, audiobooks on, videos on. They flood their brain with personal development. Because here's the thing, your body gets dirty, so you wash it, but your brain gets dirty too. So you have to brainwash yourself every single day. And those are just some of the things that the top success stories really focus on and get addicted to.
Oh, that's so good. It is so true, isn't it? You just got to keep with the personal development. I think it's kind of like just a constant hunger to learn. And like, I think what I've noticed actually is about some of the top income earners and the top success stories is actually they have the least egos because they understand that there is still so much more to learn, regardless of how at the top you are. So yeah, that's so true. I love the idea of that subconscious learning. That's so good. So you talked a little bit about your background in network marketing and all the kind of like the things that you remember. What's been your most rewarding moment in the industry? It doesn't have to be like monetary, but what's been the moment where you think, oh, that was amazing?
Again, I'm going to be hogging the microphone here.
No, I love it. Go for it.
So I was a massive self-sabotager, like real big. So my dad set me a goal. He said, Frazer, what's the goal? And I was like, he said, what's your wish? There's a rap. It's a process of what I call rap. So like wrapping a gift. So it's an acronym because I love acronyms. If someone teaches me an acronym, like I am literally yours for like a decent amount of period, like a decent amount of time. You've got my full attention. So W stands for what's your wish. The R stands for what's the reward, and the AP is not the watch, the AP brand, it's action plan. So your wish, your reward, your action plan. So my dad said to me, he said, he didn't say it in these words necessarily because that process has evolved over the years, but what's your wish? I said, Dad, if I can make $300, because I joined for $300. I say $300 because it's international, but like 250 quid a month I joined for, because in 3 years, he said, well, what's your reward? I said, in 3 years, I'll have enough to pay off my $10,000 student debt. And he said, what's your action plan? I said, I don't know. Like, tell me. He said, okay, you're going to leverage my story. So I started doing that, got to $300 a month. He then asked me again, what's your wish? I said, I only want to make $300 a month. He said, well, let's go for $1,000 a month. I was like, $1,000 a month from this little side thing? He's like, yeah. And he said, what's your reward? I said, well, I'll be able to pay my student loan off like real quick. He said, what's your action plan? I said, I don't know. He said, here's your action plan. I want you to go tell the world the story of how you were able to get that first wish, right? In a compliant way, obviously. So I started doing that, did that next one. And it kept rising and rising until it got to the stage where he got me to get my calculator out. He said, what's your wish? I said, Dad, like, if I can just stay at where I'm at now, like, I won't have to get the microphone and have to speak because I'm not making enough to really make that happen. Like, there's people doing better than me in the team, like, whatever. And he said, I want you to get your calculator out and I want you to type in this number. And I obviously got the calculator out and wrote boobies upside down on my calculator. Obviously, I'm going to like come up, obs, there's a good abbreviation. The boobies, the boobless, I threw it all in and we was like, my dad was laughing for a good solid 3 minutes. And then we got all serious. He said, I want you to write down. So it was something like 8,200 or 334. It was something like that. He asked me to multiply it by 12 and it equaled 100,000. And I looked at him and went, Dad, there's no way I'm able to make that. Not a chance. All my friends who have got better degrees than me and have got better backgrounds, all this sort of stuff, they're not even making that. I went through some stuff and, you know, my dad sat me down and I said, Dad, I'm 22 years old. And a lot of the people in my team are mid-30s, mid-40s, 50s, 60s. Every time I speak to them, they say, oh, you know, it's so funny. I have kids and grandkids who are older than you. And I started to think, hang on a minute, how am I going to coach people who think that I'm young enough to be their daughter, young enough to be their son? Be interesting if I was young enough to be their daughter, young enough to be their son. Like, how am I going to coach them? And my dad, he sat me down and he called 10 of my leaders one by one. He asked me not to make a single word, not make a single sound. And he asked all of them if they trust and respect me. Now, when he said that, I'm dying. And they all said, you know what? If it wasn't for Frazer, I would not be in this industry and I would not be in this opportunity. Of course, I trust and respect him. And I needed that for me to be able to go to the next level. But fast forward, 2013, one of my leaders says, we've got a team building in Russia in a place called Siberia in Ulan-Ude, right? I know it's a really weird name of a city, but Ulan-Ude, let's go. And I said, there's no way I'm going to Russia because everyone is obviously like that movie, Rocky IV, where everyone's just going to absolutely hammer me. I'm like, not going. I don't want to drink straight vodka at 8 o'clock in the morning, blah, 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 blah. And I turned around and my dad told me, he said something along the lines of inconvenience exposes commitment. He said, if you think it's an inconvenience, then you're not committed. So I got on the plane a few days later. I went to Russia, did an event in Ulan-Ude. It was absolutely freezing. There was like 40 people there. On the way back, Sergey, this guy, he said, let's go to Moscow. We'll stop off at Moscow. There's about 20 people now in the team from the efforts of those people in Moscow. So I was like, Moscow sounds cool. Like, go on, let's do it. Went to Moscow, doing this event. In walks this hot blonde girl. And it's Svetlana, who's now my wife, right? So I met her nearly 8 years ago. Now, because I had an added incentive to build Moscow so that I could kind of go back and forth to go and see her, because we had a 3-year long distance relationship back and forth from the UK to Russia. I started to go there and I started to develop a team. One day, I'm sorry, this is a long story, but there's promises.
No, I love it. Keep going.
Right? So in walks in this woman, and she's about, let's say mid-40s-ish, right? There or thereabout. Maybe we'll say mid-40s. She's probably late 40s, but we'll say mid-40s. She walks in and she's a little bit goofy, a little bit nerdy, kind of like the bowl head kind of haircut, just, you know, made a little bit special. Not dressed amazing, nothing special about her. She comes up to me at the end of the event, looks me dead in the eye, and for some reason, I saw myself in her. I don't know what it was, like the whole geeky, nerdy glasses, like not really a fashion sense, all this thing. And she's basically said in Russian, can I have a photo? Took a photo. she started asking me questions, and I don't speak Russian, obviously. So I'm kind of looking at her, and I turn my back to her to shout to Sergey, hey, can you like speak to her, because I can't. And I realized when I turned around, inconvenience exposes commitment. So I turned back to her, said, Svetlana, can you help me translate this conversation? And we spent hey guys, if you think about it, if it should be a half an hour conversation, it's an hour, because it's done in 2 languages. So we do that, and I saw something in her. Like, I saw this spark in her eye, and I thought, she's got it. Like this, I don't know what it is, but she's got it. I reckon she can do it. There's a hunger there. There's a desire there. She's got out of her comfort zone to come and approach me and speak to me. So I'm going to work with her. Spent 3 days with her. 3 days, like teaching her everything I knew. And she started to climb the ranks, 2014 ish, middle of 2014. So about a year and a half later, she climbed the rank, built a couple of 100 people in her team, was doing great. And I was super proud of her. I mentored her. And then she left the team for different reasons. I think it was the family reasons. I left the business 2016, did the coaching thing. And then 2019, GoPro 2019 is the second time I'm speaking there. There's 8,000 people in the MGM Grand Garden Arena where Taylor Swift has been, and the boxing matches have been, and like Andrea Bocelli has sung, and I'm pretty sure Beyonce had a party there or something crazy like that. I'm there, I'm speaking, and after I speak, there was a $1 million Hall of Fame on the first day. And I'm backstage, I'm hanging out with some of the people. As I walk back into the crowd, people are giving me high fives and stuff, like, great job, great job. And I'm in the crowd, and I'm celebrating all the 15 people who had been picking up the $1 million Hall of Fame award. And to get this award, you have to verify that you made $1 million in a year that Eric Worre runs, right? And I'm celebrating everyone like I would love to be celebrated, like, yeah, go guys, woo, it's amazing, yeah. After that had happened, there was a party for the speakers, the VIPs, $1 Million Hall of Fame event members, behind the stage kind of thing. So I go to the party, I'm holding my glass, I'm drinking my sparkling water, probably San Pellegrino with a slice of lime. That's my drink of choice, right? And someone taps me on the shoulder and says, someone wants you over there. Turn around, and this woman, mid-50s-ish, early 50s, she comes running over to me in these high heels. She's like, looks like she's about to fall over, running over to me, super excited, jumps on me, hugs me super tight, and shouts out, Spasiba, spasiba, spasiba. Now, spasiba, spasiba, spasiba means thank you in Russian. And I'm like, whoa, okay. Like, I must have done a great job of this talk. I let go of her. I'm like, oh, the blood's now running back through my body because it's like being cut off. And I see her dead in her eyes. She's got no glasses. She's dressed like she's looking smoking. And I look her dead in the eye, and I realize, oh, it's Olga. It's Olga, the woman from Russia. And she's holding something in her hand. And I go, what's that? And it was $1 Million Hall of Fame award. So the years after me not like thinking, turning my back on her and realizing inconvenience exposes commitment, she took what I taught her over the years, had a break from the industry, joined something else, and become the #1 income earner, making a ridiculous amount of money in her company. So that, for me, there's lots of different stories, but that was the one that made me realize the ripple effect that you have, even though your goals might be small. My goal was to make $300 a month. And there's someone here who's impacted tens of thousands of people making a ridiculous amount of money. So that's the answer to that question.
Oh, God, that makes me emotional. When you said that, that's just incredible. And I think, like there may have been times in your journey between the point that you quit to that moment there, where you may have felt like nothing was happening and kind of like, oh, I'm not really progressing. But over the other side of the world, there's someone who is massively changing many people's lives because of you. So again, we never know like how much we're impacting people and when we're impacting people. That's so cool. Oh my God. That is so cool. That's so inspiring to go and find those people, isn't it? Like, if that's not enough to give you that rocket up the bum to be like, go and find people because you can genuinely change their life, then I don't know what is. That's amazing.
It's amazing. It really is.
You're a wonderful storyteller, by the way. I was there. I was there in that moment. I was like, who is it? A woman.
Yeah.
You're good. I know, I was really in it then. Just quickly then, one more question, and then I've got a quick fire questions. What do you think the future of network marketing looks like?
Bright. I think it's going to be something that everyone will want to do at some point, simply because of the community, the positivity, the mentorship, and the income comes after that. It really, really does. I think now, especially in the times that we're living, there's people at home who are literally thinking, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? Everyone who they're talking to is talking about how bad the weather is, or how bad the situation is, or how much of a mess America is and the UK is, and Brexit this and all this sort of stuff. Where's the positivity? One thing I would tell you to do, I do this exercise all the time. Give myself a positivity audit. So I write down the names of every single person in my life who brings negativity, whether it's through their words, their actions, their body language, everything. And you know what? It's going to sound bad, but a lot of family members are on that list. Now, a lot of people will tell you, oh, go remove yourself from all negativity. So that basically means you've got to remove yourself from all your family, which can be a little bit of a, like, you tell someone who's new to personal development, they're like, no, my Uncle Bob, who is negative, is also my best mate. So what I do, get this list. Let's say there's 4 people, 5 people, 6 people on the list. I multiply that number by 3. So if it's 5 people on the list, the number is 15. And I go and find 15 people who I speak to at least 3 times a week in my life to make sure the positivity in my life is bigger than the negativity in my life. And I believe the best way of doing that is in network marketing, because you have your weekly calls, your weekly trainings, your monthly things. And that is a great way to get a lot of people on a call who are positive, to flood your soul and flood your brain and flood your body with positivity. I really believe in it.
Oh, that's such good advice.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think it's just the future, network marketing, just for that purpose alone.
Yeah, it really, really is. Okay, quick fire questions. So first of all, what does success look like to you?
Success to me is determined by the number of times your name is mentioned in someone else's success story.
Oh, boom. Love that. What is your favorite?
That was Jim Rohn's.
Oh, was it? I was going to give that to you then. That was very noble of you to give that. What is your favorite podcast or book recommendation?
So for me, my favorite book, the book that had the biggest impact on my life, is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It made a huge difference. Such a simple book. Podcast, I'll have to say this one.
Oh,
this is the best. The reason why it is because if you're listening this far in, there's something that you've got value from, and it means there's more value that you're going to get. So tune into this one, smash that subscribe button, give it a 5-star rating and review, take a screenshot on your device, share it, tag me and Carly in. I would actually love to see the people, what they love most about this episode, so that I can engage with them and give them a shout out and all that fun stuff as well. So definitely this one, Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Obviously I have my own books. I'm not gonna mention those. It wouldn't be fair.
Plug them.
But
say it.
But also your podcast as well.
Oh, I love it. Well, I'll mention your books because they are amazing. My team absolutely love them. So you've got I Dare You, I Double Dare You, and then you've also got the I Dare You tracker, which is so good. That's changed tracking in my team. It really has made a massive impact. They absolutely love it. So we are all fans of the book. And lastly, who is your biggest inspiration?
My dad. My dad's my hero. Yeah. He, I haven't got kids, not yet, maybe one day, but my dad, just through his actions, has made me who I am today. His work ethic, his commitment, his drive. I've got a whole story. I'm not going to tell you that other story because it takes a bit of time. I'll tell you another time maybe. But if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I am, simply because of what he's done. And I believe if you have kids, I'm going to give you some parenting advice, although I'm not a parent, so please, if you don't want to take it, then don't have to. But what you do, your actions will literally determine the trajectory of your kid. They will either be successful because they've seen you be successful, or they will be successful because you weren't successful and they'll do it in spite, or they'll be lazy because they've seen you be lazy. So by you being successful, you give your kid the biggest and best chance of them making something from their life. So there's a little, my dad is just, he's a god.
I so agree. When it comes to parenting, I 100% agree that our kids are watching, and I know my little boy is watching me in my office working, and I'm always so present with him, but I know he's learning work ethic from me, and I know he's learning courage from me. which is powerful.
It's also one of the greatest benefits about building a home-based business, because if you're working as a lawyer, as a doctor, as a solicitor, as a retail manager, as a restaurant manager, whatever, you're working your backside off, but your kid ain't seeing it.
Yeah.
As a network marketer, your kid's seeing everything.
Yeah.
So
and especially like the way that we coach other people in network marketing as well, he's hearing how I speak to other people. He's hearing how I pour belief into people and I empower people and I motivate people. And I want him to be that person. I want him to be in the playground like, you could do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But it's so powerful. I think our words are so powerful as well. So thank you so much. Where can we find you? I know that everyone is going to want to binge all things Frazer Brookes. So where can we find you?
Best place, if you're a podcast listener, then I have a podcast, Network Marketing Ninja Podcast, Network Marketing Ninja Podcast. And if you like reading, you can go over, if you go onto my Instagram, Frazer Brookes Online, there is a Linktree link in the bio, which has all the fun stuff that you can go check out. So Network Marketing Ninja Podcast, and then the Linktree in the Instagram bio. But thank you so much for having me on here. This has been it's so much fun to hang out with people who are serving other people and wanting to help other people for the benefit of helping other people grow and seeing the impact and the ripple effect that they're having. So I'm super grateful for you. I know we've recently connected, and I'm so excited for our new friendship to flourish. So thank you for everything you do.
Me too. I'm so excited too. Lastly, do you have any courses coming up? Because I know my team are going to want to hop on all of them.
Yeah, you know what? The promotion periods of all the courses and stuff changes so much. So again, if you go to the bio, the Linktree link in the bio of my Instagram at Frazer Brookes Online, the first button is usually like the most like recent course or the most relevant course for everyone in network marketing. Amazing. Good to know.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for all you're doing. You help my team so much. You help me so much, and I'm just so grateful for everything that you're giving. And keep up with your Dubai loveliness. I do like it. It does inspire me.
Well, I'll see you here soon, I hope.
Yeah, I know, definitely, 100%. Thank you so much, Frazer. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Thanks, legend.
Bye. Oh, what did I tell you? He's so good. I just love his vibe and his energy. And I love that he's just so himself, you know, like he's so passionate and he's so successful, but he's clearly not trying to be anyone but himself. And that's so refreshing to see. And it really inspires me. So if you loved that episode, which I know that you did, make sure you take a screenshot, tag me and tag Frazer on Instagram. Let us know what you're loving, and just share with absolutely everyone that you think will find value in this. So thank you so much for all of your support as always. And remember, you are made for so much more than you can even imagine. And as soon as you tap into that power, the possibilities for your life are endless. Thanks, guys. Bye.